What's up, guys? The Man with No Fear returns. Daredevil Born Again episodes 1 and 2 dropped, and we are going to review that right now. I am Joe Zapata, and I'm with my boy Dave DC Callari. What's up, Dave?
What's up, folks? I just did a quick rewatch to see if I missed anything.
Yeah, I watched it myself again really quick. I was watching it while I was eating real quick. So let's talk a little bit backstory. Daredevil was originally a Netflix series.
I think it was the first. It was the first one.
Yeah,
a decade ago.
Yes, 2015. Yeah, it was a long time ago. 2015 to 2018, and they did a sort of a soft reboot, which was what they were calling it, whatever.
Yeah.
And now they did it with Marvel. Now I was always wondering because Marvel series always they start off sometimes strong and then they fade. You know, we had stuff like that happen before with I think Moon Knight wasn't too great. Book of Boba Fett was not that great either. But with Marvel, anyway, the first 2 episodes drop, and I'm going to tell you right now, the first.
Are we doing spoilers here?
Let's try and keep it maybe spoiler free if you want. I don't know. Should we do it spoiler? Well, should we do it? Or I think it's up to you. What do you want to do?
I think we should just do spoilers.
Okay, we're gonna go with spoilers.
I saw a couple of reviews out already that have some guys are going light, but it's hard to talk about the show without really.
All right, so here you guys go. Just looking at spoilers are coming. All right, so spoilers are coming. I'll just put that up there. All right, the first 15 minutes of episode 1 to me, I think, has been the best 15 minutes Marvel has ever put on Disney Plus.
Probably.
That's how good it was. I couldn't believe how great that first 15 minutes was.
Yep.
And what they did in that first 15 minutes was they killed a character. Obviously, we're going to talk.
He doesn't make it. He doesn't make it past the opening credits.
Yep. And he throws someone off the building, which he never does whenever he doesn't kill. That set up the whole story. I could not believe how, and the first 2 episodes were great. This was the best 15 minutes of any Marvel TV show I've ever seen. What do you think, Dave, so far?
I agree. I thought as far as Disney Plus series go, WandaVision was the first. I think it started off really strong. I think it ended pretty strong. I think WandaVision was one of the better ones. Loki was pretty good. I like Falcon Winter Soldier. Moon Knight didn't care for. I watched Agatha All Along. I think it was okay. I just think it came too late, kind of like Black Widow. The What If series, kind of whatever. But those were all, like I said, good, middle of the road. This has a lot riding on it because it's carrying a very long story arc, or if you want to call it tradition, whatever. It's coming, it's bringing. It has a lot of baggage, and a lot of expectations.
Yeah, the diner scene with Fisk and Murdock, just kind of put the tension right there in front of you between them two. They have a history, so they're sitting there and they're both trying to change. He's not going to be the Daredevil guy. He's trying to clean up. He's going to be the next mayor. It was right there. They're trying to change, but they're looking at each other. They know it's going to come to the head.
They both crushed it. They crushed that scene. They both crushed that scene.
Amazing scene. It was really great. And then if we kind of fast forward a little bit to how the series ended in episode 2, that ending scene then became even like, oh my God, I couldn't wait for, dropping the 3rd episode. Excellent. Again, with, the police and the cops and how he does that. This series, I think, and I'm hoping it's going to be really good. Now, a lot of my friends, a couple of them I know, saw all of them already, all 9.
Okay.
There was a couple of cameo. There was a cameo in there or so that I don't know if you know about it, but there's a cameo in it that didn't really fit, but it is here or there. But they said overall, great series. Which one did you like better, first episode or second one? They both were tremendous. I thought they were both great.
I think the first one, because even though it feels like a lot of setup, I don't feel like, I think it all pays off. And then the second episode, we get more into the full development of the story, where we get a Hector Alaya, White
Tiger, correct.
Yep. So like, where I anticipate episode 3 to kind of kick off with a bang, based on the 2 maybe dead cops in the apartment. I don't know.
We don't know. I was actually, maybe I forgot, but I had to kind of think about it going back to the old series when he threw Bullseye off the building. I'm like, how did he live? But
Yeah,
then I forgot the
at the end of, I don't even remember if it was a post credits or just at the end of season 3, the doctors are working on him and like fusing his skeleton. So, I mean, they're kind of taking a little bit of a swing because that was, if you follow the comics and you kind of know what Bullseye has, but nothing's really confirmed. And then, Matt feels like he killed, like he broke his rule and killed somebody, but he didn't kill anybody.
Correct.
You know what I mean? So, but Matt seems like a very strong person on principle. So just because he decided to take the action, even though Bullseye didn't stay dead, he's still like crossed the line.
Yep.
But now in episode 2, did he cross it again? Like, what's happening?
I don't know. I think the costume for Bullseye was a little bit, I don't know, I wasn't too crazy about it for some reason, Bullseye's costume, but I guess he is more, they try to do it like the comic book a little bit, how we have the different design, I don't know.
I mean, I'd be remiss to think that this is the last we'll see of him because I'm pretty sure it's not. Costume might change.
Yep.
So
it might change.
It's fine. It's better than Colin Farrell's costume.
Yes. 100%.
And what did he wear? He wore the Daredevil costume for most of season 3. Correct. So this is about as close. We're getting closer.
Now, I did know that the stunt coordinator for the first series did not originally come on board with this series. And then apparently, I guess Charlie Cox complained and there was some rewrites and they said, bring him on board. And now he's like, and a big difference he made because that whole in the hallway scene was a one shot. The whole fighting stuff was one continuous shot, which I thought was, I mean, like I said, I love that scene. I watched it like 3 times already. It was my favorite scene of the whole thing, that fight and the pain he goes through when Foggy is dead. It's just, and the hearing, because he's hearing the heartbeat of Foggy as he's fighting.
I read a quick little Screen Rant article that said that Charlie had actually gone back to the director and said, what if I can hear Foggy's heartbeat through the fight? And he's like, do it. We're doing it. It's great.
Amazing. That was such an amazing how they did that whole thing with everything. I mean, I thought right now the series starts off with a bang. I'm looking forward to the next episode. I think this is going to really kick it off. Really, this series is really looking forward to what everything's doing. It's really, really good. I mean, what else can you say, right?
Yeah, I hope it stays strong. I hope the characters get interesting. What I really did like is that we only get Daredevil in the suit for
just that one scene, right?
6 minutes, maybe, if that. And then the entire the writing is good, the acting is great. Like the story stays interesting without him being in the costume, and that's usually a sign of good writing.
Yep. At the end of episode 2, you think that was the Muse writing on the board on the street wall? I think the was with graffiti on the wall. I think that was the Muse. I'm not sure who it was, but I thought it might be. That's what I thought it might be. I wasn't sure. The dynamic between Vanessa and Fisk, you can tell that's the only person who really has his heart. Even when on the rooftop, she says, I know about Adam, and he says, don't kill him.
I want to know who Adam is.
Exactly, right?
Adam sounds like he was double dipping.
And if you know him, and I think he's as the mayor, you think about it, maybe has some significance with Trump being in prison because Fisk was in jail and everything. They kind of didn't bring that up. I thought they would close something about that.
I'm kind of, I don't know if they're assuming if you watched Hawkeye and Echo, because any questions you have about what happened to him or where he was really answered in those 2 series. Very briefly, but
yeah, that Fisk in that series was a little bit different than what we got with this series, though.
Yeah, I feel like they were trying to change the narrative or having him fit a little bit different. Did you watch Hawkeye?
Yes.
Yeah, it was fine. Okay. But I think
I wasn't crazy about Echo. I don't know.
No, I think they were just trying to change the Fisk character to kind of fit with the Haley Steinfeld's portrayal of, trying to marvelize it instead of letting him be what he started to do in the Netflix series. I even saw an interview with D'Onofrio that said, I feel like I've finally been able to do what I wanted to do with the character that I created. Like it's definitely going more towards the development he wanted. I
Funny story.
I don't know if Daredevil was even. I don't think that Daredevil was confirmed or greenlit back when Hawkeye was released or even shot.
No, I don't think it was.
So
I don't think so. Funny story. I've seen Vincent D'Onofrio on the traffic light. He was next to me in a Corvette with his daughter, and so I waved to him, and he then took off. But he was just like goodbye. He rolled up his window and took off. But I was like, oh, Vincent. And that was going back like maybe 2 years ago. But it was pretty funny. But great series, great start. I think it's going to be really good. I thought because I know if you know the Disney the Netflix series, he didn't really like in the beginning of this one. He was like flying around like web sling. You know how he
So my only gripe is so far I can appreciate the action they went to in the first scene. Oh, so we're swinging from billy clubs. Okay, cool, great. We're gonna get more into his comic abilities. The CGI, and I know Marvel is coming under a lot of CGI fire lately. It wasn't bad. I just feel like it wasn't as smooth or as good as it could have been, especially for a huge opening episode set piece. It probably could have been a little bit better. And I feel like the hand-to-hand stuff was maybe just a notch below all the top Netflix stuff.
Okay.
My only small criticism. But again, even with that criticism, again, it goes back to the writing. The writing is good because I can forgive some less than stellar action if the overall story is really good. But if the story sucks and the action sucks, then what are we doing? But I think the fight between Matt and the two police officers, even though it was very, very brief, was much more aligned with what Netflix had done.
Were you surprised they killed Foggy in the first 2 minutes of the series?
Yes and no, because they brought him back. It's a good way to segue from the old stuff instead of just giving us what we think we want as fans. Because there are people who are like, you can't have Daredevil without Foggy and Karen, which is kind of true. But you can't. This forces them to push Matt's narrative further than if they had just continued having the three of them at the law firm. Because then you have to do a time jump, as they did 1 year later.
1 year later.
It's almost impossible to have Fisk become mayor at that point in time. Like everything had to happen in order to get the story to where it is. And I think it'll make for a more interesting story.
You think Karen's going to die during the series?
No, not.
No.
So if the cameo that your friend is talking about is out of place, is it the Punisher? Is it John Bernthal?
No, he'll be in it, but he won't be much in it at all.
Okay, which is fine because again, it's not his show. Let's give him his own show like he had on Netflix. But I don't think you can't have John Bernthal come back as Punisher without Karen showing up. She was such a big part of season 2, and she was such a big part of his first season on Netflix. So she'll definitely be back. I don't know how much. I think she'll probably be back in flashbacks, as will Foggy, from what I've heard and seen. But I don't anticipate her playing a huge role, which is also fine because if Matt continues this relationship with the therapist, I kind of want to see that play out, whether it's good for Matt or there's something nefarious because Wilson and Vanessa are now seeing her for therapy. Like, is that a random chance or is that on purpose? We don't know.
No. Maybe she dies. That would be, who knows? Maybe she dies. The
Vanessa?
therapist. I don't know. What?
Vanessa or the therapist?
The therapist he's dating.
That is possible.
Maybe.
Matt gets to get happy. We're gonna take it right away.
Yep. And I don't want to. I'm not going to spoil the cameo, but I'm going to just drop a small little cue who it could be. Jersey City. So maybe you'll figure it out from there.
Okay.
You got it now?
Maybe.
I could tell you offline, but I mean, which it doesn't fit.
Spider-Man. Fisk mentioned Spider-Man in his speech.
Yes, he did. What are you saying about the costumes and?
He's like, we don't need a man with guns and a skull on his shirt. We don't need a man in a spider suit, and we don't need a man who dresses up as a devil with horns.
Yep. And like I said, the Punisher is going to only have a little bit of what my friend told me, not a much, but he's going to be in there a little bit, which is good. And the series is, from what he said, it's really, really good, really good. I wanted to ask you too, and I know it's a little bit off, but Ben Affleck's Daredevil, I liked that movie. It was like a guilty pleasure of mine. I did like it. Now, obviously, the Carmen Electra thing. I mean, the Electra was a little bit. The Electra stuff was a little bit crazy, but I kind of liked Ben Affleck as, Matt Murdock. I don't know. What do you think of that movie?
At the time, that was everyone was trying to find their footing, right? Spider-Man had come out, X-Men had come out, Blade was already a few years old at that point. So, like, this is what we were going to do. I didn't love it when it came out. Like, it was fine. I didn't hate it. I didn't love it. I have since rewatched it a few times, and it holds up. And I do enjoy it more because I see, like, that it didn't do very well.
No,
and that could have torpedoed everything. Like, we may not have had the Netflix series and the Disney Plus series if people were like, listen, Daredevil was terrible. Like, what are we doing? So I do like it. I think Michael Clark Duncan was an excellent Kingpin. Really, really good. I think they did a good job with depicting his sight, like how he sees, better than Netflix. The World on Fire thing was a little weird. I liked his little sonar that they would show.
That's pretty cool.
So overall, I think it did pretty well.
What do you think? What do you expect now for the next episode?
I think the next episode is going to be maybe a little. I anticipate at least one more like big action episode. Clearly, I'm pretty sure there's been footage online of White Tiger like in his suit fighting. So he clearly either breaks out of prison or they don't even make it to the trial. One of those has to happen. And I'd like to learn a little bit more about him and how he started. I mean, I know a little bit of his backstory and like the first Latino superhero, and he in the comics, I think he has to wear 3 amulets for his powers.
Something.
But
like
in this one, I think he only has to wear 1. So maybe we'll get a little backstory on that. And then I think we'll get a lot of Fisk diving back into like the underworld while trying to be mayor.
Yes. And he's going to be corrupting the police and all that stuff. I think you can see. And I think Muse is going to have to show up really soon.
Yeah.
They're going to have to do something with him soon. The actor that played White Tiger, he passed away. Did you know that?
You did?
Yeah. I didn't know that. The actor who played him passed away. I don't know. Yeah. I read that actually the other day.
Oh, man.
I don't know, what they're going to do after that, but he did pass away.
That's
that kind of sucks. Yeah. Yeah, me too. I look at the same thing you look. I think this series is going great. I'm looking forward to it. And I'm looking forward to, like I said, episode 3. I can't wait. Reacher, we're going to talk about a little bit, probably maybe next week also too. Did you see last week's episode?
Of course I did. I enjoyed seeing the backstory of
good.
Of Quinn. So we get some idea about where like why he's dangerous, and 2, why Reacher is so bent on getting him back. And then of course we end on a big cliffhanger. So I don't know how this one's going to go off, because as far as I was concerned, as the henchmen are walking into the building, the warehouse, Reacher's like not even in the car on his way. So I don't know what's going to happen.
Yep.
So we will see.
We will see, man. So we'll find out actually tomorrow.
There's a lot of good TV happening right now.
A lot of good TV, and right now Daredevil. I'm probably gonna watch that scene again, Daredevil, because it was so good.
Yeah,
the fighting scene was really good. I can't wait.
I just wish they would drop earlier than 9 p.m.
Yes, that sucks. At that time, and I thought they used to drop like Mandalorian used to drop at like 6 a.m. So I would be able to watch early in the morning.
Like I think Reacher drops 3 a.m. like 3 a.m. So
yeah, that was a much better time. You could watch it and everything. You don't have to wait all the way to the end of the night. And that is a cool. What is that? A hot toy, or is that a?
That's the NECA.
NECA.
The NECA 1/6. Yep.
That is really cool.
And I also have my little.
Let me see.
Daredevil watch here.
Oh, that's cool.
With the DD on the
DD, yeah.
the wrench.
Pretty cool. All right, Dave. Well, that was great. We can't wait for next week for episode 3. We'll talk about that. I will see you in a week.
Yeah, brother.
You got it, brother. Thanks a lot, man.
Yep.
You got it.
Thanks for watching the Zapata Brand podcast. Please subscribe to the podcast and listen where all podcasts are available.